want somebody's money,
Okay.
I want you to be arrested.
Okay.
You know what? It'll be okay for her. It's not so okay for you.
Hot Bench.
Train service in Providence delayed after a car catches fire. Why officials say the situation could have been much worse. Plus, Governor McKee expected to announce the next group of Rhode Islanders tomorrow who are eligible to get the vaccine. How many doses could be available? And Jeff is here with your full forecast, starting right now on ABC6 First at 4.
This is Southern New England's trusted news source, ABC6 News First at 4.
First at 4 with our top story. 2 of the 3 men charged for killing a 17-year-old Woonsocket girl in 2019 went before a judge today. ABC6 News reporter Amanda Pitts spoke with the victim's family. She has the story from Woonsocket.
Charging count 1, first-degree murder.
Craig Robinson and Quentin St. Pierre arraigned in Superior Court on first-degree murder charges, along with felony assault and weapons charges for the murder of Nyesha Williams Thomas. The third suspect, Jose Ortiz Martinez, was indicted on a murder charge last year. Nyesha was just 17 when she was shot and killed while in a vehicle in the Plaza Village apartment complex on December 4th, 2019. Police said at the time the bullet wasn't meant for her, but for a 14-year-old passenger the group had a dispute with.
It's still heartbreaking. It's still very raw.
Bonnie Piekarski leads the Boys and Girls Club in Woonsocket, where Nyesha started going at the age of 12.
She was a really great kid. Her smile would light up a room, her laughter, just a really good human being.
Since Nyesha's death, the club has done a lot of outreach in her name.
We brought the Institute of Nonviolence into the high school to do a full assembly. We also had a walk for Nye in her honor to bring awareness to violence that is hitting kind of the kids in our community.
Nyesha's mom, too emotional to talk on camera, but says Nai was mature beyond her years, loved her family and friends, and lived life to the fullest.
Nyesha's name should always be used for good and always not just affiliated as a victim, but who she was.
In Woonsocket, Amanda Pitts, ABC6 News.
Thanks, Amanda. Now to continuing coverage. A fire at a Providence train station with a train bursting into flames. Firefighters tell ABC6 if crews got there a moment later, the situation could have been a lot worse. ABC6 News reporter Laura Puglisi was on the scene all morning and has the details. MBTA says about that situation, the trains will still have delays coming through Providence because of maintenance workers. And they tell ABC6 the fire actually burned the cables above the track. We're also developing news out of Woonsocket.
This happened on an incoming train on track 1 headed to Boston. And while most officials have cleared the scene here, the question remains, what caused that fire to start? Travelers pulled up to a hectic scene Wednesday morning as fire trucks surrounded the Providence train station.
A very tight schedule. I have to be there at 11.
Kevin Clayton, one of dozens headed to New York. His train later canceled due to overhead power issues from the fire.
These 2 years have taught us that, anything can happen. So, you have to just take it with whatever comes with it.
It was the same story for Madison Campbell, booked on that same train with a tight schedule.
Which is a little bit disruptive to me. I have a doctor's appointment I'm going to at 11:30.
Delays continued through the morning hours after the fire broke out. The MBTA train 7800 was headed from Wickford Junction to Boston. It stopped in Providence around 5:40 when the fire department says they got the call.
It was the hauling section of the train, the first car and a 6-car train. It was a fire in the generator compartment, so there was fire emitting from the top of the train car.
Stephen Houle, Deputy Assistant Chief, says the fire happened in the generator, which lies next to the fuel and the engine. There were no people in that unit, and all passengers were evacuated.
It could have been a malfunction, mechanical malfunction. I believe it is a diesel-fed generator. They cut power and fuel to the train, and the fire died down.
He says once that happened, everyone's stress level went down. There were no injuries, and now it's up to MBTA to remove the train, which the Deputy Assistant Chief says isn't simple.
They're going to de-energize the train, they're going to ground the train, and then it's going to be up to them to detach the engine compartment, haul it out, and get it. They're going to have to get another engine here to move the rest of that train, so it's going to be quite some time.
MBTA says that any trains traveling through Providence will continue to experience delays due to overhead power issues. I did speak to some maintenance workers here who said the fire actually burned the cables above the track here. Of course, the good news, no one was hurt. Reporting in Providence, I'm Laura Puglisi, ABC 6 News.
Thanks, Laura. And we're also following developing news out of Woonsocket this afternoon, where rescue teams went to a house fire late this morning. The fire broke out around 11 at a home on Social Street, where we spoke with the fire chief, who says it was difficult to put this out because the fire broke out on the 3rd floor of the apartment and there was only one entrance into the building. No one was home when the fire broke out. There's also a lot of damage to the building, but we're told it's not a total loss. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Now, developing news from Barrington this afternoon. Police are looking for a 74-year-old man that went missing 2 days ago. Michael DeLessio was last seen in Barrington Monday around 8. Police say they've been able to trace DeLessio's cell phone to several cell towers in the Providence area. If you think you've seen this man, call Barrington Police. The department also saying he suffers from schizophrenia. New at 4, Governor McKee holds his weekly COVID-19 press briefing tomorrow, where he could announce the next group of people in Rhode Island getting the COVID-19 vaccine. ABC 6 News reporter Olivia DeRocha has more on why this vaccine could be made available pretty soon.
Rhode Islanders ages 50 to 59 are next up on the eligibility list, which is estimated to be early April. But now, with the help of more doses from the federal government, the timeline here in Rhode Island is really speeding up. Governor McKee says he still plans to have everyone eligible for the vaccine by April 19th. As of right now, those eligible here in Rhode Island to make an appointment are those on the front lines, those 60 and older, and anyone 16 and older with underlying health conditions. Right now, the health department is getting nearly 48,000 doses of the vaccine per week. The state health department says by June, they're expecting to receive 100,000 doses per week, which is double what we're getting now. Today, I spoke with some people who say they're pleased with how the vaccine rollout here in Rhode Island has progressed.
It feels like we're getting there now, to, getting the groove. People worked out the bugs and the software bugs and the people bugs. And, so yeah, we're moving forward. And it's exciting now that they're starting to talk about everyone being eligible. And that's really exciting.
Coming up on ABC 6 News at 5, what the health department has to say about the current vaccine rollout in Rhode Island. In Providence, Olivia DeRocha, ABC 6 News.
Thanks, Olivia. And in Massachusetts, new guidelines coming out this week for high school graduations. ABC 6 News reporter Scott Cook has more.
Per state guidance, all schools in Massachusetts can host graduation ceremonies this year, either indoors or outdoors. But of course, things are